Welcome to tonight's Salt Lake City Council formal meeting. We're continuing to hold our meetings remotely due to the declarations of emergency related to the pandemic and earthquake. While we are meeting remotely, we are happy to have you connecting with us online or by phone. Thank you for joining us. To begin, we'll take a moment of silence as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance to ourselves. When we're done, we will return and turn the audio back on. Okay, welcome back. Although we're conducting our meetings electronically, and that's different from our normal in-person meetings, we still have some city council meeting guidelines to make sure that people feel comfortable and safe participating. To help facilitate our meeting, especially the comment period, please be respectful. Avoid yelling and making racial slurs, obscene, or defamatory remarks. We will go now to the public comment section of the agenda. The standard order of the formal meeting has been adjusted to accommodate the electronic meeting format. And we're combining sections B and C1 of our agenda to include general comments and public hearings. In addition to the comments given tonight, our office has received a number of public comments through email. Those will be included as part of the public record. I want to take a minute to explain our electronic process for public comments. Although we're joining electronically, we still, again, as I said before, want to create a space where people feel comfortable and safe to participate. To help facilitate our public comment period, please be respectful. Please know that if a caller is not respectful, you'll be given one warning, and if the caller continues to not follow the council's meeting rules, we will mute your microphone. I will read the list of public comment hearings for the evening and then open the public comment period. Our meeting host will then identify the names of 3 commenters at a time so that people can have time to be prepared to speak. If you don't wish to speak, when the host states your name, please let us know that you're just here to listen, and the host will move on to the next commenter. If you do wish to speak, when the meeting host unmutes your line, please state your name, indicate which public hearing item or items you wish to speak to, and whether or not you have a general comment, and then the 2-minute timer will begin. At the 2-minute mark, the host will announce time and your microphone will be muted. If you indicate that you want to speak on more than one item, then the host will prompt you to move on to your next topic. If you're unable to complete your full comment within the available time, please feel free to mail additional comments to the Salt Lake City Council at P.O. Box 145-476, Salt Lake City, Utah 84114-5476. Or you can email us at council.comments@slcgov.com. Or you can call us and leave a message or talk to one of our staff members at 801-535-7654. Our staff will be messaging with the attendees to coordinate on the public commenting period. Please monitor the chat screen for information and feel free to message our staff person, Robert Nutzman, if you have any questions. I hope that information is helpful. Now I'll go ahead and list the public comments that we have set for tonight. Item B1 is an ordinance that would amend the final budget of Salt Lake City, including the employment staffing document. The proposed amendment includes Airport CARES Act funding revenue and grant funding from the U.S. Department of Justice's Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Program. Item B2 is a proposal to vacate an alley adjacent to the properties owned by West End LLC, located at approximately 730 to 740 West and 900 South to Genesee Avenue in the Cummings subdivision. Item B3 is an ordinance that would rezone properties at 5525 and 5575 West, 1730 South from general commercial to light manufacturing. Item B4 is regarding an ordinance that would rezone 3 properties on 700 North at 1616 West, 1632 West, and 1640 West from R1 5000 single family residential to community business. Item B5 is regarding an ordinance that would rezone the property at 1612 West, 700 North from R1 5000 single family residential to community business. Item B6 is regarding an ordinance that would amend the zoning map and future land use map for 2 properties at 771 North and 795 North, 400 West. Item B7 is regarding an ordinance that would update the transportation section of the city's impact fees facilities plan. So Bobby, if you'll go ahead and start with our first public comment.
Council Chair, it's Amanda tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Council Chair.
Thanks for running our meeting. Will you go ahead and announce any of the public comments we have?
Yes, absolutely. A quick note for everyone joining us tonight. If you joined, you'll be added to our queue to speak. And if you're just here to listen, please let us know and feel free to send a message to Robert Nutzman. And first, we have Ephraim Coombe, followed by Anthony Guzman and call-in user George Chapman. Ephraim?
Hi, I was just planning to listen. I saw that on the agenda the Racial Equity and Policing Commission was going to be discussed, and so I was just here to listen. Sorry.
Oh, got it. No worries. Thank you. Next, we have Anthony Guzman, followed by call-in user George Chapman, and then Luna Banuri. Anthony?
Hi, I think I was in the same situation. I just, when I wanted just to listen, and I think when I logged in, somehow I ended up putting myself on the agenda, so I'm here to listen. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Next, we have call-in user George Chapman, followed by Luna Banuri, and then Rogelio Romero Paredes. George.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
It's going to be an interesting meme. Okay, on the transportation impact fees map, page 24, it shows significant inequity for West Side streets. Andrew, James, what's going on? I urge the city to ensure that the poor West Side streets get more attention, and streets need maintenance, not traffic calming. Traffic calming is not maintenance. The 9-line bridge is important to the 9-line trail development of greenery and lowering the barrier between east side and west side of Salt Lake City, and it should be in the plan, transportation impact fees plan. Consider building the 9-line trail east now from the rail tracks. It would give ballpark and greenery much desperately needed attention. Why isn't Foothill Trails part of the transportation? It's not just parks, it's also part of transportation. Same with the Jordan River Trail. It should be in the impact fees list. The fire code issue was a problem with the 300 South cycle track, which led to the fire marshal reassignment. Please consider carefully relaxing those requirements since cycle tracks are impacted. I don't like the cycle track on 3rd South, you know that, but the transportation manager said it doesn't matter, you don't need firefighting for those high buildings anyway, which was ridiculous. Regarding digital equity, which is very important, the Interlink study website for the new circulation study is not as easily accessed unless one has cable and a powerful desktop. That's not digital equity. Until this city has real digital equity, the city should make websites easy to load and read. Please consider many pocket libraries to ensure full digital equity. Thanks for listening. That's my comment.
Thank you, George.
And thank you to Luna, who let us know she's here to listen. Next, we have Rogelio Romero Paredes, followed by Samantha Eldridge. Rogelio?
Just here to listen. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. And then next we have Samantha Eldridge. Samantha?
Oh, hi. I'm here just for establishing the Commission on Racial Equity and Policing.
Okay, thank you, Samantha. Council Chair, there are no more names for comment.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody who tuned in for comments. If you have a comment and you didn't have a chance to speak, then hopefully you can get your request in before the end of our meeting. We'll be happy to take your comments if we can get them done, or if we can get them in before we get through our agenda. Okay, I'll now look for a motion for item B1. Item B1 is regarding an ordinance that would amend the final budget of Salt Lake City, including the employment staffing document for fiscal year 2020 to 2021.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that the council close the public hearing and adopt an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2020-2021 final budget of Salt Lake City as proposed by the administration.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Fowler and a second from Councilmember Dugan. Is there any discussion to this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and proceed to a roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Valdemoros.
Yes.
Mono.
Yes.
Dugan.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That passes unanimously. We will go ahead and move on to agenda item B2, which is the coming subdivision alley vacation. I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that the council close the public hearing and defer action. We're deferring, we're doing it tonight. I move the council to close the public hearing and defer action to a future council meeting.
Second.
Okay. I have I have a motion from Councilmember Johnston, a second from Councilmember Rogers. Is there any discussion to this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and roll call vote. Sorry? Someone have a comment? Okay. Seeing no discussion, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Valdemoros.
Yes.
Mono.
Yes.
Dugan.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That passes unanimously. We'll move on to item B3, which is an ordinance that would rezone properties at 5525 and 5575 West, 1730 South. I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move the
Yes.
council close the public hearing and adopt an ordinance rezoning the properties at 5525 and 5575 West, 1730 South to M1 Light Manufacturing.
Is there-
Second.
Okay. Was that Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion from Councilmember Johnson, and a second from Councilmember Dugan. Is there any discussion of this item? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Valdemoros.
Yes.
Mono.
Yes.
Dugan.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That passes unanimously. We'll move on to agenda item B4. That is an ordinance that would rezone 3 properties on 700 North, 1616 West, 1632 West, and 1640 West. I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move the council close the public hearing and adopt the ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Rogers and a second from Councilmember Dugan. Is there any discussion to this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and proceed to a roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Valdemoros.
Yes.
Mono.
Yes.
Dugan,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. That is unanimous. We'll move on to agenda item B5. Agenda item B5 is an ordinance that would rezone property at 1612 West, 700 North. I'll look for motion.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair, I move the council close the public hearing and adopt the ordinance.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Rogers and a second from Councilmember Fowler. Is there any discussion of this item? Seeing none, then we'll go ahead and roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Voldemoros,
Yes.
Mono,
Yes.
Dugan,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Let's proceed now to agenda item B6, which is an ordinance that would amend the zoning map and future land use map for two properties at 771 North and 795 North, 400 West.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that the council close the public hearing and defer action to future council meeting.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Mono and a second from Councilmember Fowler. Is there any discussion to this item? Seeing none, then, Councilmember Voldemoros.
I think I seconded just for the record. I'm not sure if it was Fowler.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Voldemoros, I'm sorry. So I have a motion from Councilmember Mono, a second from Councilmember Voldemoros. Is there any discussion of this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Voldemoros,
Yes.
Mono,
Yes.
Dugan, Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
and Councilmember Fowler.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That passes unanimously. We'll move on to agenda item B7, which is the Transportation Impact Fees Facilities Plan. I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move the council close the public hearing and adopt an ordinance updating the impact fees facilities plan for transportation services and amend the consolidated fee schedule.
Second.
Is this? Oh. I have a motion from Councilmember Johnston, a second from Councilmember Dugan. Was that right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any discussion of this? Seeing none, Councilmember Johnston.
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers. Sorry, I called you out of order.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yes.
Voldemoros.
Yes.
Mono.
Yes.
Dugan.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Just shaking it up. Try to keep it interesting. That concludes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I apologize. On the Cummings Alley vacation, I think I meant to take action tonight on that. Instead of defer to a future council session.
Okay. So would you?
Could I amend my motion? We already took a vote on it, but if we could amend the motion to close the public hearing and take action tonight.
Mr. Chair, I could be wrong and maybe Cindy or Katie could chime in, but I think you have to vote to recall the motion.
Right.
Sorry, reconsider.
So Councilmember Johnston, since you voted on the prevailing side, you can motion to recall it. We have to vote to agree to recall it, and then we have to vote on it again. So go ahead and make your motion.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I would move that we recall the vote on the Cummings Valley vacation.
I'll second.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Johnston to reconsider the vote and a second from Councilmember Rogers. Is there any discussion to this? Okay, I'll just note again, this is just to recall the vote. So Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Valdemoros,
Yes.
Mono,
Yes.
Dugan,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. So we will recall or reconsider that item, which I believe was item
B2.
B2. Yes, thank you. Item B2, an ordinance regarding the Cummings subdivision alley vacation.
Mr. Chair, I would move that the council close the public hearing and adopt the ordinance.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Johnston, a second from Councilmember Rogers. Is there any discussion of this?
I apologize, Mr. Chair, for my my lapse earlier. Thank you for allowing me to do so.
No problem. Thank you, Councilmember Johnston. We'll go ahead and proceed to roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Valdemoros,
Yes.
Mono,
Yes.
Dugan,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Okay, so that passes unanimously. We will now, that concludes the items under the section B of the agenda. We will move on to section C, which is comments. We've already addressed the items in C1, which is general comments to the city council. That brings us to item C2. Council members, are there any questions for Mayor Mendenhall? Mayor, thank you for being here. Mayor Mendenhall, what will you be getting Councilmember Mono for his birthday?
Oh boy. Well, typically I bake a triple layer coconut cake with cream cheese frosting.
Ugh. All right.
But
Well,
I'm sorry I haven't done that yet, Councilmember. Mono.
Dang it, that sounds like a great present though.
If we were at in-person council meetings, then we could all share it.
hmm.
When we get back to that, maybe I'll bring a cake.
Since you both from District 5, I think you should have to get ingredients that are all from District 5, including the coconuts.
Well, I'll see you at the state fair, Mr. Chair.
Hey, I'll see you at the modified version of the state fair for this year.
You know what? I'll take that back and ask Mr. Councilmember Mono, do you have a Salt Lake Bees baseball cap yet?
I don't. I have a Salt Lake Bees cup though.
Well, maybe this is a good idea. Okay, go Bees.
Thank you. Go Bees. All right. That brings us to section D of our agenda. We have only one proposed action item, and that is regarding a resolution for project funding allocating the capital improvement program. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I would move that the council approve a resolution adopting the capital improvement program project-specific allocations for fiscal year 2020-2021, as shown on the attached Exhibit A funding log. I further move that the council request the administration focus on evaluating and prioritizing capital investments through an equity lens, and that the council, I would add that the council intends to revisit the CIP process with the administration. I know that's not what the motion sheet says, but that's where my motion ends.
Okay, I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilmember Fowler and a second from Councilmember Valdemoros. Is there any discussion to this item?
Could you
Well-
restate that addition real quick?
I need to amend it. Sorry.
Okay, go
Friendly
ahead.
amendment, if I may. I'm going to add some of this other language so I would move that the council approve the resolution adopting the capital improvement program. I would move that the council request the administration focus on evaluating and prioritizing capital investments through an equity lens. I would move that the council intends to revisit the CIP process with the administration, reaffirming our commitment, looking at the entire process to reaffirm our commitment to the public process outlined by ordinance under Resolution 29 of 2017 to continue opportunities for constituent applications and reaffirming the council's role in the process and other refinements.
Okay, so we have an amended motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Fowler and a second from Councilmember Valdemoros. Is there any discussion to this?
Mr. Chair, is there opposition to the fourth quarter cent sales tax for transportation being part of this?
Sorry?
Is there opposition from council members about incorporating the fourth quarter cent sales tax for transportation into that discussion going forward?
I don't mind if
Go ahead.
If I may, since I made the motion, I don't mind having the conversation, but putting the entire fourth quarter cent into CIP, I don't know what that looks like or what that was meant to accomplish. And so I guess if the legislative intent is to have the conversation, then I don't oppose that.
Yeah, my question stems from not having a discussion about where those funds go. That was my concern.
Okay. Well, at this point, it's just a discussion. So
if Council Member Johnston is making a friendly amendment to include that as a part of the discussion as a legislative intent, and I would not oppose that friendly amendment.
Yeah, I'm fine keeping it as an intent. My intention is not to move forward with that at this point.
okay. And is there any other discussion to this item? Okay, I would also add as a discussion point, and I'm fine keeping this as intent. I don't. We didn't make any changes to the proposal for CIP this year, and I don't want as a council, the fact that we didn't make changes to be construed as accepting this as a process, the process that occurred beginning in 2019 and carrying over into 2020. I don't want my affirmative vote to be construed as accepting that process, but I am inclined to vote for it. I just want to make that clear on the record. I think we've made it clear to the administration in our discussions leading up to this, but to the extent there was any ambiguity, that would be my position. Anyone else have any comments before we proceed to a roll call vote?
Ditto.
Thank you. Okay, Councilmember Rogers.
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Valdemoros?
Yes.
Mono?
Yes.
Dugan?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well. That brings us to item E2, which is new business. We have a joint resolution with Mayor Mendenhall establishing the Commission on Racial Equity and Policing. I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that the council adopt a joint resolution establishing the Commission on Racial Equity in Policing.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Fowler and a second from Councilmember Mono. Is there any discussion to this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and proceed to a roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Valdemoros.
Yes.
Mono.
Yes.
Dugan.
Yes.
Fowler. Fowler.
Sorry, I didn't hear you cut out. Yes, and
Yes.
I look forward to this commission. So yes, very resounding yes.
Yes. Me too. Ditto to Councilmember Fowler. Resounding yes for me as well. Okay, that passes unanimously.
Mr. Chair, if I could add,
Yes.
since we're not in a physical room where you can see attendees, I just wanted to highlight that some commission members are in the meeting, so to speak, listening. So just wanted to make sure that they're recognized.
Oh, thank you. Who do we have with us?
So we have Anthony Guzman. I know maybe Bobby can help me out. Luna Benori was one also. Probably not going to see all of them. Sorry, I was just mentioning that on the fly since we're kind of winging it tonight.
Okay, thank you. Well, those of you that are here from the commission, we really appreciate your service. We're really excited to see what you bring forward to us. And I think I speak for everybody when I say that we really thank you for the time that this has taken. I know that you all have been meeting weekly, and it's a huge undertaking, and it's something that we really appreciate, and I think the residents of Salt Lake City appreciate. All right, thank you all. We'll go ahead and move on to item E2, which is approving the appointment of Blake Thomas as Director of the Community and Neighborhoods Department.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve Blake Thomas as the Director of CAN.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Rogers and a second from Councilmember Johnston. Is there any discussion of this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and proceed to a roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Valdemoros.
Yes.
Mono.
Yes.
Dugan.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That is unanimous. We'll move on to item. Excuse me. First of all, congratulations, Blake. We're really happy to have you joining Salt Lake City, and we really look forward to working with you. Again, you already promised to share your personal cell phone with us, so we'll go ahead and distribute that widely among the 7 of us, so that and accept your blanket invitation to text you at any time. So, or call, really. Why hold back? Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to agenda item F1, which is our unfinished business. Item F1 is approving the Public Utilities Revenue Bonds, or WIFIA Loan Series 2020B.
Is this the WEFL, whatever it's called? The WEFA?
Yeah.
Okay, then in that case, I move that the council adopt the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Fowler and a second from Councilmember Johnston. Is there any discussion to this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and roll call it. Councilmember Rogers.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Valdemoros.
Yes.
Mono.
Yes.
Dugan.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. That brings us to our consent agenda, portion G of portion G of the agenda, our consent items. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Approve the consent agenda, Mr. Chair.
second.
I have a competing motion by Councilmember Johnston and then Rogers. You guys are so similar. You're finishing each other's sentences at this point. Sorry, motion from Councilmember Rogers, a second from Councilmember Johnston. Is there any discussion to this item? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Aldemoros,
Yes.
Mono,
Yes.
Dugan,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. That is unanimous. That is the end of our agenda. We will go ahead and stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you in, yes, see you together in September.
Desire to join with you and a sincere desire to work with you